So I've spent a lot of my time this year filming documentaries, and it's been so much fun, but also given me so many chances to learn things the hard way. So today I want to share with you some of the mistakes that I've made and some of the things that really surprised me about documentary filmmaking. So the first thing on my list is that I was amazed just how much there is to think about and keep track of with documentaries. Now, that's no secret. Everyone knows that documentaries require a lot of patience and a lot of footage, a lot of decisions, but I very quickly realized that we needed to be highly organized in order to keep track of just all of the information and notes and ideas and email addresses. This is so far just most of the information with lots of bits crossed out. There's personal information and phone numbers and stuff, but this is most of the information that I've been compiling and collaborating with people on into this one Milanote project. I actually got in touch with Milanote and asked if they wanted to sponsor this video since it had been such a helpful part of this project, and they kindly agreed to. So thank you Milanote for sponsoring this video. So even though I'd love to tell you lots of details about this project, which is definitely the biggest project I've ever taken on, I can't really say very much about it today. Everything's changing all the time, so I'm going to keep everything quite anonymous for now. But rest assured that I will fill you in as soon as I can. So I want to take you on a really quick tour of some of the things that I put on this board. One of the first things we added was a list of people that we wanted to contact. And then as the project developed, basically instead of having files strewn across my desktop, instead of having little pieces of paper with notes on it and little bits of information scattered across email threads, I was copy and pasting any information, any links and any photos so we could keep everything in one place and easily accessible. So the next thing I wasn't ready for when we started making this documentary was how simultaneously fast and slow the process of making documentary can be. When we heard about the story, everything was already kind of happening, and so we jumped straight into trying to understand the situation and then pretty much get straight out there to start filming. Just like any film project, collaboration was really key here. And so we decided to work with Isaac, who has made some documentaries before, and we thought he'd be a great researcher. And so while we were talking to the main subject and trying to organize various other things, we could have Isaac working behind the scenes on drafting emails and researching to kind of get some background information on topics and areas that we didn't quite understand to make sure that we asked the right questions and reached the right people. And so all three of us, myself, Tiara the co-director, and Isaac the researcher, got three people with their different ideas and different strengths, all pushing in the same direction and working simultaneously. I really enjoyed that kind of energy. The most hectic period was for about 3 weeks, and I ended up literally blocking out plenty of my time so that I could have these spontaneous interviews. You know that something's about to happen, you just don't know when. It was really thrilling and really exciting to have that crazy period. But then just as quickly you're looking through footage or you're trying to figure out the best phrasing for a question to ask, and suddenly things slow right down again. I'm glad we interviewed him yesterday, because imagine if we interviewed him today, the whole situation's changed. We'd have to be like talking in the past, you know? So one of the mistakes that I made, especially with the things that we filmed earlier on, was not filming enough B-roll.
You don't have him like doing
anything.
everyday thing,
Yeah,
you know,
yeah.
It's just him talking to the camera.
Sure.
And we've got him walking, obviously. So I think we have to think about when we should get him out to writing.
Yeah, that's probably our next priority, isn't it?
And so as the project went on, we started thinking not only about what questions to ask, but looking for opportunities of things to film, you know, activities and ways that we could blend the interviews with real life, because people often feel a little bit kind of stiff when they are talking in an interview setup. Whereas if you can get things to be a bit more candid by just giving them something to do or by going out somewhere, often you can get a much more kind of real response from them because it doesn't feel so formal. And then we have the big topic of dealing with people, real people who might not want to be on camera, people who might not keep to a schedule, people who might have privacy or safety or legal reasons for not wanting to say certain things on camera. I really hope they haven't said to all the employees, hey, no one talk about this. I mean, it's almost like they're hiding something, isn't it?
I don't think so. I think it's a precarious thing, isn't it?
So to be honest, I was surprised by how many people said no to being interviewed or being included in our documentary. But on the other hand, a lot of the people who I asked expecting a no actually ended up being the most enthusiastic people to be part of the project. So now I've just decided that I'm not going to even try and guess whether someone would want to be part of the project. I'm just going to ask anyway. So as we collected people's contact information and those people helped us find other people to interview, we could see who we've already asked and who said yes, who said no, and what time we'd be filming things. And we even decided to be ambitious and try contacting some world famous football players, since the guy who's the main subject of our documentary is an absolutely huge Chelsea fan. So making a list of their names and then finding their Twitter page, their Instagram page, DMing them, Googling their names, trying to find email address, trying to find their manager representation. So I think that would be a good place to focus today. So we really went for that, drafting up this message that really encapsulated what we were trying to do, trying to make it really easy for them to say yes to this little favour that we were asking as part of the project. And sadly we didn't get a single response from anyone, but I still feel like that was a good use of our time, just because if it had worked, it would have been so good for the project. So if you do happen to know anyone who knows anyone at Chelsea FC, please do send an email to this address. Thank you. And the last thing that was a surprise or a mistake is something that I'm still trying to kind of grapple with. I'm still very much figuring out. But we found ourselves really not wanting to misrepresent the people we're filming, especially once you get to know them and you like them. We definitely didn't want to make people look bad, but at the same time, it doesn't feel right to sugarcoat someone and to cut out all of their flaws. But it's tempting to sugarcoat someone, especially when you like them, especially when you know that they're gonna watch this documentary that you've made. It's a big responsibility, I think. And yeah, too big of a conversation for this video. And so that's why I'm being very kind of careful about the information I include even in this video, because yeah, I think you just got to be very delicate with a lot of this stuff. So that's kind of a summary of the pre-production process. So we've got a lot more work to do on this documentary. We're still filming and started editing as well, but I think I can see making a few more docs even after this one. So that's quite exciting. And but yeah, that's it for this video, and I'll see you next time.